Yes, everybody. Welcome to Bala Sport. This is your boy Johnny. I love my man Saka, my man Musa. We are discussing Premier League football. Welcome to the channel. We
Appreciate
appreciate
that.
your viewing. Like, subscribe, and share. All right, fellas, we here. Let's discuss this Arsenal Leeds United game. Arsenal walking out with the 4-0 victory after going into as a visiting team. What do you guys have to take about this game today with Arsenal 4-0 against Leeds United?
Yeah, man.
Talk to me, Coin.
My team came back out with some firepower after a crazy game against Manchester United, which kind of humbled us a bit to remind us this is the Premier League and this is a rivalry. And if you don't step up to these games, they will remind you that the Sharks are hunting. You understand? So we came out on the front foot. We came out showing our pace, our guile,
I,
both strikers in the net, if I'm not mistaken again. You can hear me? Yeah. Both strikers in the net again. Madueke off the mark with an assist. And a goal which they counted as a goal, which is not an own goal. So our depth of the team coming up for us and showing that we do have the players to perform, but they really have to step up when it's time to perform. You understand? The team looked pretty good. The defense looked like they woke up again and had a reality check. They looked eager to make the plays that they needed to make. Calafiori coming back into the 11 and showing why he's probably the first option at left back over Hincapié and Miles Skelly is with that stability and playmaking into the offense. The team, every player going forward looked hungry to score, and they look like they didn't really want to settle and play this kind of side to side game that which got kind of readable. So it looked like they took into account during the week what the coach said as Arteta asked the team, "What do you guys think?" They said they rolled up their sleeves and said, "This is what it's all about." So yeah, they showed their character in this game, man, and I couldn't be more happier. It is against Leeds. I want to see my team perform better against these bigger teams now and make have some more statement wins. I know it's Manchester United last week, we get Leeds this week, but now we're showing that, after a drop in form, we can still find the form when we need to find it. That's what they need to hit on. Eze comes in, the guys that are not starting, they look like they have a chip on their shoulder. Eze looks like he has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to get into the England 11 for World Cup. He needs more minutes. Odegaard, there's whispers of him going to Bayern Munich before the game. You can see now he's looking for that play to slot in the ball. There's no Saka. So who you gonna go to now? As in these hearing the echoes of the only thing he does is pass to Saka. Look at Gabriel Jesus off the bench. He comes in and gives us another classical goal when we needed to see the quality in what we have. If I'm not mistaken, in this game here, Kai Havertz did start the game. Yes, so Kai Havertz coming in for us. There was whispers of him with a knee injury and showing that they're gonna have to really manage his minutes because he might be set back because of the injury he got. He cannot play as long as he wanted to from before, but he comes in and he gives us quality. It looks like him and Yorkeres now are showing a kind of a connection, a striker connection where we're kind of playing Havertz right underneath him, and he knows how to, kind of unlock that or open the space for Yorkeres. Yorkeres again coming with a pretty rough game and putting the pressure on the back line. He's showing he's a battering ram. He's going to score if he gets in the right positions. It's not pretty with this guy, It's not too pretty with Yorkeres, but he's showing you that if I'm going to be here,
I agree.
I'm going to scrap for it. And when he was scrapping, man, the guy is holding him. He's still finding a way to put the ball into the net. Timber.
right.
Okay, so let me ask you this about this question about your Arsenal team. You have Gabriel Jesus is coming in. It's 100%. You bring in Victor Gyökeres in the summer to be that number one striker or be that spearhead in front of you. You have a healthy Gabriel Jesus. If you had an option right now, given the position how both of these number nines are playing in front of you, who will you start? Gyökeres or Gabriel Jesus?
You know, that is probably the question of the hour when it comes to Arsenal. Me personally,
Mm-hmm.
only because the injury that
I mean,
Gabriel Jesus had, right? I would start Victor. But in terms
mhm.
of quality, in terms of you may be finding a goal, they've kind of gone through the kind of same struggle as where sometimes they just can't find a net. So it brings me to a point where who do I choose? I'm even questioning myself as who would I choose? You understand?
I'm looking from the outside. You guys spent a lot of money bringing in Victor Gyökeres, which was a player that was being eyed by a lot of teams. We're talking about Man United, maybe Liverpool, even ourselves. We were looking into the player. We know he was prolific, playing in the Portugal league. It was being destructive. Now we're talking about a guy, Gabriel Jesus, who was injured, has come in my opinion, has shown more fortitude and more hunger in front of goal than the guy you guys went out and got in Victor Gyökeres. So that's why I asked the question that I asked, because I feel like Gabriel Jesus, who has been injured, has come in and has shown more hunger than the player who's supposed to come in and fill up that spot for you guys and be that guy in front of goal who is going to provide that threat. Because let's be honest, besides Gabriel Jesus coming back, you guys never had that threat. And you guys went out in the summer and spent the money. He was supposed to be your guy. And let's be honest, he hasn't shown up for you guys at all. You had to wait for a guy who was injured to come in to maybe put a fire under Gyökeres to understand that, hey, if you don't play your game and you don't score, I'm going to take your spot. Whether you came in, I don't care how much the price tag was. I'm
Right.
showing more talent in
Correct.
front of goal. So that's why I asked the question that I asked.
That was a great
And
question, if I might jump in quick.
yes.
That was it's a great question. But to get to Queen's point is that because of injuries and Jesus and the way that the whole Arsenal is set up right now, I don't think Arsenal. We all seen it last season that they're missing the true number 9. So getting him to come in with the amount of money to come in, but he's still not Premier League ready compared to Jesus is. That's all I was gonna say about that question. But that was a great question because at the end of the day, like throughout the season, like you say, the question of the hour, moving forward, if you guys really want to compete, there's gonna have to be a debate on who should we start as a number 9. And we
That's
see
a
what Jesus did against Manchester United. He was
mm-hmm,
no call, no show. Honestly, he didn't do nothing at all compared to this game against Leeds.
right.
But overall, when you look at this game, man, you gotta give a lot of credit to Arsenal to bounce back the way you do away. Excuse me. It's not a home game, and to see them from me from front to back, Arsenal were dominated, and they were ruthless in attacking. They take no prisoners in this game, man. They score goals as well. Madueke was the star boy taking over Saka, as we mentioned earlier. Just the way he come out and say, but I seen this from Madueke being a Chelsea fan. He's gonna come out and play games like this and the defense with discipline compared to Manchester United. And this is where championships separate themselves from contenders. And for me in this game, Arsenal shows that they're not a contender; they are a championship caliber team. But
Mm-hmm.
we just get to see what happened for the rest of the season. But that was a great question moving forward, man, because Arsenal need to find answers when they're going against the big boys. I'm saying Leeds United is whatever, but what they did at Leeds way, not to get the crowd involved. The atmosphere is what makes some of these teams hard to play, especially teams like Leeds United that play physical. They're aggressive. They want to win the second ball. But to see how Arsenal just shut the whole stadium down and how they're able to take over this game, you got to give credit to what credit is due, man.
Mm-hmm.
Little hat off to them for
I
showing
agree.
up and bouncing back and taking care of business. You walk out of there with 4 goals and not giving up none. The defense is back, doing what they need to done. But hey, man, the next game is what matters, and hopefully we get to see the real Arsenal, which for me
Yeah.
is this. But
Not to we can leave that choking stuff in the past because my team means business right now. And as I just showed you, don't get me wrong, my first choice would be Gabriel Jesus. At the same time, Gyökeres is showing that he's not that Premier League ready yet. The Premier League is exposing his weaknesses. He's kind of boxy. The foot skills aren't really there. The soft touch isn't really
Yep.
there. When Jesus gets into the area, it's going to be danger as he shows you, all the time. He's shown you that he knows the Arsenal system also better than Jesus. and Gyökeres is also showing that he has better connection with a certain other player, type of player, like a forward-minded player, but a playmaker like Havertz versus Jesus, where he knows how to play with the whole team. Doesn't matter who is on the pitch. You understand? So again, that is the question of the hour, Johnny. If I'm a coach, I would be kind of. It's like you take it a game by game situation, and then if it's not working by halftime, you got to change it.
Right.
But you can't really take a chance sometimes. You got to put the guy that's going to kind of batter the teams that are coming to batter us. You're going to put the battering ram in the teams that we're going to have that we can play against elusive. You're going to put Gabriel Jesus, and that's the kind of beauty of having both of these guys now. But at some point, it's going to come down to the wire where you're going to have to name a guy that's going to be number 9 every single game. And that's the toughest thing. And this is football.
Absolutely.
So,
I agree.
I don't even know how to give you a solid answer yet because of how things happened. But, I like what I'm seeing from Jesus. It's just that the injury that he had, you have to manage it.
Yeah.
It comes down to minutes management. And also with Havertz, too. You know what they're saying already. So, my first choice is absolutely Gabriel Jesus. But this sometimes strikers, it's like sometimes they can't pull a goal out. And it seems like both of these guys sometimes have that problem sometimes. It's like you can't pull one out. And it's maybe is it the curse of Arsenal number 9 jersey because we've had Giroud in the past. Giroud went on to win a championship, if I'm not mistaken, or
Sound like
trophies
Chelsea.
with Chelsea.
Facts.
But when he's with Arsenal, he's scoring spectacular goals, and sometimes he can't find the freaking net, and that's what my frustrations are. Is it our playing style? What is it? Just how things happen? What we have to wait and see. But it's pretty interesting. That's a big question, man, and that's what Arteta has to come and answer right now, brothers.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah, I think
what?
it's gonna tell all the time. Obviously,
Yeah,
whether depending on who you guys choose to be that guy in front of you guys, it's gonna either make or break your season.
Right.
You
And
know what I'm saying?
another
correct.
follow-up question I want to ask John quick. How worried should Arsenal be about Saka injury?
I mean, we're talking about a guy, he's very, very important guy for Arsenal. We're talking about, in my opinion, what I would consider Arsenal's future and consider their best player going forward. But at the same time, I'm looking at a player who is young, who is good, but it's not consistent. Doesn't show up for the big games. When I need him the most, where is he? He seems to disappear. And as good as he is, and as great as he is, and in my opinion, as great as he could be, I don't see it in the pitch, especially when I need you to show up. You're supposed to be the face of this team. When you out there for Arsenal, you're wearing the captain's band. That's a big shoes to fill, being as young as he is, to be leading a team as the captain, a team like Arsenal. We've seen the captains that you guys had in the past. So with that being said, I think he's a fantastic player, but I feel like if he wants to be the player he wants to be, I think Arsenal's the place for him.
Who, Saka?
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, since he's been there, has he shown his true 100% world-class style of football that everybody say he has? I don't see it. I haven't seen it.
All right,
And I'm
dude.
looking from the
I have something to say. I have something to say.
Go ahead. That's it. I love it. Let me hear it.
Saka is for me. Saka is not just about his numbers. It's just his presence alone on the field.
Yes.
People need to pay
Yes.
attention to the little details. Saka present alone matters, because like he's not the guy that you say is gonna be hot today and cold tomorrow. Just his presence alone, or he's like defenders pay attention to him. How he's able to pull the 1, 2, 3 defenders just to do the triangle defense, trying to stop him, or trying to stop him from crossing the ball, or trying to make the move. Yes, he have not scored since December, if I'm not mistaken. However long he was, he haven't scored goal. But Saka present alone, just to be there, he's Premier League ready. He's a wise and there's a lot to be said about him. But as an outsider who want to see Arsenal lose anyways, but going against a guy like Saka though, like just him being on the field as a decoy alone, open up the whole game for everybody else. And I know everybody want to pay attention to the numbers, like I say, but Saka is a very important player. He's a very, very important for this whole for Arsenal to function. They need guy like Saka for 38 games to be there, to able to do the things that he does, to able to put his shoulder down and take players on. Madueke could do it, yes. But Chelsea got rid of Madueke for a reason. Madueke is not like consistent game in and game out. Madueke is not a player that I think could change a whole game for a whole season. Once in a while, like games like today or yesterday against Leeds United, he did his thing. But dude, the absence of Saka is going to affect Arsenal if it is a serious injury for the title. I know a lot of these teams today, Man City could just drop points whenever. Liverpool is not the same. Chelsea is not going to win the Premier League. Let's just be real with it. If it happens, I'll be glad. But I don't think Arsenal City is going to drop that many points. But though, Saka is a
Okay.
very, very important player
All
for
right.
Arsenal.
So to your point of Saka being injured, do you think by Saka being out, would that hurt Arsenal's chances of winning the title?
At this point right now, to see how the rest of the teams are performing, how City is dropping points, how City is not. I don't see cities that got the hunger of the pedigree with the championship pedigree they had. Games like today, giving up 2 goals.
Yeah.
That's not a championship pedigree. That's just a
Absolutely.
container. I'll say they're just there. Yes, they're in the mix. Yeah, they're still City. The name is what ringing bell. It's not really the performance. But this title today, this title in this season is Arsenal's title to lose. It's not like they have to worry so much about City or worry about Liverpool or Chelsea or Manchester United or Villa. See what happened to Villa today, man. You got what? You play over 45 minutes or even over 50 minutes with upper man, but still fumble it. So I'm not worried about Villa as much as I'm worried about what Arsenal is going to do the next game. And I think this title is Arsenal title to lose.
I agree 100%. Kuzi, what do you got to say about that?
Yeah, that's a great question again, Johnny Dam. But to your point about Saka being out and how he's utilized, I believe people have seen his effectiveness and how he can be dangerous, and every team that we play has adapted to it. When he picks up the ball now, there's always 2 men on him. As a footballer, as a winger, when they're sending 2 men for you. I've been on the field, and when you enter the pitch, they say, hey, you guys already know who we have to mark out here. That's what they're giving their treatment for Saka. And I believe the system that we play him so one-sidedly. They don't really give him kind of a free roaming kind of a role, so he's always on that one side to it's either across, because he can't really cut it and shoot now. That used to, when he cuts it and shoots, he does not miss a lot. When he's aiming, when he gets his chance to shoot, he is dangerous.
Right.
So every team now has adapted to that, and I think it's the coach's job now. Sometimes play him on the left, sometimes let him roam as a free roaming 10 as a right winger, but you're still kind of getting into play action. You still kind of drift to give the team a kind of a different element. They have not gave him that. So everybody sees it now as him being not that effective as he once was, but he's kind of affecting the game in a different ways. And if you're not, I can't go left, he's going to take you into the box to try to play it to somebody. And that's what we've been seeing more of Saka. He's kind of assisting more, kind of getting the ball into a dangerous area. We got a striker now, but he always has to cut back. When you have to cut back for a striker that's always getting to the front of the line, we've seen Gyökeres frustrated with this kind of thing. And, the fans have kind of voiced it. Hey, Saka, stop cutting back. Just get the ball across, and maybe that's when you have to kind of, change things around, as in look at Cole Palmer for Chelsea. He's a 10. Sometimes he goes out on the right. Sometimes he plays as a 10. So, sometimes they give him the free roaming role as, I don't know if Arteta, he has his thing set as where he wants it to, and they don't really want to give Saka that kind of a role. But he played so much minutes now, and he has a hip injury. So we're still in first. We're gonna see how it affects us, but I think sometimes the role that he plays,
Yeah, when Saka's not on the field, it's not on the field. But Arsenal
he's
got the
not.
depth to cover it up. We'll see Madueke step up today, but that we don't want to have no conversation to think Saka position in this team is in question.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
not.
something that
It's
we should even
definitely
think
not.
about
No,
because
Right.
it's definitely his
No,
position
absolutely
hey,
is
agree.
not. Yeah,
there's still.
Arsenal,
I
it's not.
mean, John, don't forget, man. There's still Arsenal, man. Anything will happen with these guys.
no, that's what I'm saying, and I agree with you. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel like he hasn't shown up for the team, but he also has the ability to be that player to really take over and beat that guy. You know what I mean? So I don't take anything away from him. I think he's a fantastic footballer, and he has shown that he has the capabilities and the abilities to be that guy for the Arsenal team, you know. But I agree with Jose. I think he needs to have a free role in the final third. Yes, you might play him in the wing, but when it comes to that final third, give him that freedom to express himself footballly. Let
Right.
him, instead of cutting inside, maybe let him take the chance, maybe bring some defenders. He's drawing that double. Give him the freedom to allow him to express himself football wise. And maybe
That's the
we'll be
word.
able to see a different Saka than what we're seeing right now, because I feel like Arteta kind of has some trap on this winger position. You have to play this position, and that's it. Instead, if you give him like a Bruno Fernandes kind of position, okay, you're playing in the wing, but when you get to that final third, you are allowed to maybe move into the middle of the box, maybe go move into the left of the hand side, maybe get into the box, outside of the box, maybe drag in the ball, maybe drag in defenders. So I feel like maybe him having that freedom could allow him to maybe become and maybe show what kind of player he can really become in the future if he is allowed to have that freedom to show his football.
That's the
Correct.
same thing we could say about Cole
Correct.
Palmer. You nail it.
Absolutely, 100%. You need that freedom for those kind of
You nail.
players who are
That's the key
creative
word.
players. They have
Yep.
to have that freedom. You cannot tie them down. You got to allow them. It's like a painter, man. You give him a free canvas and give him paint. He's going to create you a masterpiece, but you got to allow him to have the time and have the colors and the brushes and the paints that he wants to give you the picture that you want to see.
That's the same
Correct.
thing we could talk about the West Ham versus Chelsea game, especially the way
Mhm.
Cole Palmer was. Cole Palmer felt like he didn't have that much freedom, and you
Nope.
didn't need that much freedom. But Cole Palmer, play like Cole Palmer, has to have that to
That
perform.
freedom.
You know, but that's what we've seen him rushing a lot of things. He was not himself, although he played 90 minutes. Now, getting back to soccer, bro, you nail it. You know, I think that this has something to do with Atata than anything
Mhm.
else. And what's the system you want to run and how you want the team to be played. Most of these managers are so stuck in their ways that it's very hard for them to just go ahead and say, you know what, go ahead, be yourself. And that's
Right.
what I think. If you look at the second half of the Chelsea game against West Ham, how to come back, I feel like the manager let players be themselves. Yeah, hey, go ahead, dude. You guys know y'all better. You guys know y'all talented. Go down there and just win this game. And it happens. Now, for me, with Saka, I just push him speed of recovery. Saka has been dragged down to the floor. He plays so many games
He
as
really
young as
does.
he is, but he's over 250 plus cap, if I'm not mistaken. So this guy play in and out of 24 years old, over 250 plus cap. That's a lot of game.
It takes a
Injuries
toll
are
of
meant
you.
to happen, so he do
That's
take
a
toll
lot
of
of
him. So
games.
I'm
That
not gonna
is
question soccer position. It is a lot of game.
I've
I'm never
I've
It is
gonna
a
I've
lot
question
of
soccer
I've
games,
had
man.
position.
I've had a hip injury. It could get very deep as where it could affect your nerves, depending on how he injured his hip. Not saying he's gonna be out for that long, but that's showing you that you're putting on a lot of a mileage. Understand? So at this point, sometimes you gotta experiment with such a creative player. It's like we're playing FIFA.
I agree.
Let your offense interchange. Let the offense interchange when we're attacking.
I
You know,
agree. I I agree with you 100%, especially going into this Leeds game. It is a game that you are expected to win. I would have started Madueke and then I would have set down Saka. Maybe have Saka come in the second half and just be
yeah,
that extra battery energy at the end to close out the game and let Madueke come out and show that, hey, Saka, if you don't show 100%, here's the guy who can take over your job. And then you allow yourself to maybe not get your star player injured in a situation like it happened today, because like Musa said, he has been playing a lot of games for being such a young player. And I understand he is one of you guys' best weapon, but you also have to protect him, because now you find yourself in a position, you're closing in towards the end of the season, you only 6 point clears, one of your best players, hopefully, knock on wood, he is not as injured or is not going to be out for the rest of the season. So it puts you in a position where you're like, okay, is my manager managing the players correctly and doing the right things for my players to be able to perform the way they need to without getting injured and getting us over the line?
correct,
Yeah.
correct. And
Well said, bro, man. But right now, Arsenal is
also, also, sorry to reflect on that, making other players start. Christian Norgard, the guy has proven to us in Champions League and for Brentford that he is a
Yep.
Premier League player.
I haven't seen him.
Why isn't this guy getting more time? Now, to Zubimendi, Mendy's mistake from last game, It is showing he's a little nervous. Why are you putting him in these positions where he's showing his nerves? Let him go further up the field, or
Well, I
sometimes,
think
or
that
don't start
Zubimendi
him.
played well in this game, though. I
No,
think he
he
bounced
did.
back
He
pretty
Definitely.
did.
well.
Listen,
He
listen.
had
He
a good game
bounced
to
back.
end the game.
Listen, he bounced back. He is a coach favorite. He is one of the coach's favorite. Don't get me
Correct.
wrong. He's a player that can do this. I'm not saying don't start the guy. He's one of the guys that plays the most minutes in the midfield if it's not Rice for us. So I'm not saying he has that trust. He is a great player, and he's a Spanish international, and a Spanish midfielder as international, they don't take it light on them. It is for you to play football
Right.
week in and week out, 90 minutes. But sometimes you kind of strain guys. You know, as in Arteta, I'm not saying not to start the guy, but Norgard, he came in, what was that? As in midweek, and he showed you his nerves. He showed you how calm he is. He can slide into the center back position. He can play deeper. He can give us stability. You know, we've had sometimes in the midfield, we're playing in these positions where we're playing the ball in vulnerable positions, and sometimes that one or two mistakes is going to happen when you play the ball out the back like this. And you have to take note of it. And I'm not saying that that's what we get into, but look at how the mistakes happened against Liverpool, against Man United. This shit can't happen again. I don't give a damn. This cannot happen again when you're going for a
This guy's
title
still
like
mad
this.
about Manchester United
Yeah,
loss. Get
I'm
yeah.
over
still
it, bro.
pissed off.
Come
He's
on
still
now.
I
got
am
tweets
He's
still
still
talking.
salty about the
pissed
Manchester United
off. I
beatdown.
am
And I was
still
right in front
pissed
seat looking
off.
at him in the face
You
every
know,
time they score on him.
I'm still pissed. Now, I'm not saying a player can't make a mistake. It's just how you do it, brother. You feel me? But I'm taking my tats off to
True, true.
Zubimendi for showing that's how a big player bounces back from a mistake like that. He shows you, bro, I'm not with the bullshit. I'm gonna come score to show the fans that I'm still playing for the badge. So my hat off to Zubimendi. But I just want my boy Norgard to get a couple more minutes, man. The guy is a Premier League proven player. You know, don't outcast him for now. You gotta sell him now in the summer to go back to try to find another guy like this. Somebody from the outside that's probably not Premier League proven. You understand? So sometimes the coaches, it's hard to manage a team with depth like this. Again, this is the hard thing with having such a deep team, you know. But again, the players seem like they're playing for the team, for the greater good. So that's the great thing in the atmosphere if you're the Arsenal. So I'll take the
Well said.
fours here
Yo,
when
John, before I
we
let you
got
close
you
this
boys
out,
on.
man, I just want to do something quick. Before I let you close this out, man, just watch this badge, okay? Whenever you feel lonely, whenever you feel like you need somebody to talk to, whenever you feel like you want to do,
Yeah,
however Arsenal go for the rest of the season, whatever Arsenal achieve this season, whether it's a Champions League, whether it's a Premier League, just remember, this guys have done it already. So all we gotta tell you guys is about goddamn time you guys step up your game. Go ahead, John. That's me for
Nah.
tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll agree. I think if it's going to be Arsenal's year, I think this is the year for you guys. I think if you guys don't do it this year, at least Premier League wise, I think Arteta needs to go. I think he's been working on this project for the last 7 years. I haven't seen anything to show. You went out and spent big on the summer, bringing out the so-called last pieces of the puzzle that you were missing. So right now, you're 6 point clears on the top of the table. Let's see what happens towards the end. But like I said, it's been a fantastic week of football. Appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is Bala Sport. We
Bala
discuss
Sport
nothing but the
TV.
best sport in the world, which is the Premier League. We appreciate you being here, my man Coach 24, my man Musa. This is your boy Johnny. We out of here, man. We enjoy
We
you
out of
having here.
here.
Don't forget, man, we're here every single week talking about every single football game that's going around the corner, whether it's Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United. We here for it, man. So don't forget, like, share, and
And
subscribe.
subscribe.
Bala
Appreciate
Sports
you,
TV,
brother.
baby. We
Peace.
appreciate you guys.